Close your eyes for just a second. Picture it. It's late at night. The world is finally quiet. The endless notifications are silent. And somewhere out there, a billionaire isn't doom scrolling social media. They're turning a page. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are diving into a surprisingly simple, quiet habit that truly separates average lives from absolutely extraordinary ones. We're talking about how leaders are readers, and how this billionaire night habit literally builds empires.
This quiet, late-night atmosphere is exactly what we're focusing on today. It's that incredibly intimate, sensory mood at the very end of your day. You know that feeling, right? When the endless noise of our modern world finally fades away, and your mind actually has permission to just slow down. So let's look at the stark contrast between how most people end their evenings and how the elite end theirs. For the average person, we all know the drill. It's Netflix, it's Instagram, it's endless, mindless scrolling. Basically, it's just consuming digital distraction until you pass out from sheer exhaustion. But a billionaire's routine? Well, that relies heavily on intention and quiet. It's a deeply purposeful way to close out the day. They aren't just letting the day happen to them, they're actively choosing exactly how it ends.
We call this the night reading ritual. And to be clear, this isn't just about skimming a few pages of fiction to get sleepy. It's the deliberate practice of deeply processing information right before sleep. Physiologically speaking, this is absolutely crucial. This is the exact moment when wisdom enters quietly. Think of your brain like a supercomputer. What you feed it right before you power down is exactly what it processes, connects, and stores while you're sleeping. So by doing this, you're quite literally upgrading your mind overnight.
Why billionaires read: the obsession with learning.
Let's talk about the why. Every single billionaire you admire has one major thing in common: an absolute obsession with learning. Take Bill Gates, for example. 50. That is the number of books he reads every single year. Just think about that for a second. He doesn't just read casually when he's stuck on a long flight. He actively consumes roughly a book a week. That is a massive volume of new ideas and mental frameworks being downloaded into his brain constantly.
And if you thought that was wild, get this: 80%. Warren Buffett, arguably one of the greatest investors in human history, spends nearly 80% of his entire working day immersed in reading. He literally just sits in his office and reads. It's a profound testament to where elite performers actually believe the true value of their time lies.
It really all boils down to this. Success is not about doing more, it's about thinking smarter. These leaders aren't out there trying to dig ditches for 18 hours a day. They're using reading to constantly sharpen their mental faculties. They understand that real, lasting leverage comes from making better decisions, not just grinding harder. And better decisions, well, those come directly from the upgraded mental models you build through reading.
The mental training routine, setting the scene.
So how do they actually execute this? Because it isn't just opening a book in a chaotic, noisy living room. Imagine this physical environment. Dim lights, a warm lamp, no phone, zero noise, just a completely focused mind. This is a carefully engineered environment. In this space, they're reading slowly, not to hit a page quota, but to truly understand. They're underlining ideas, reflecting on the lessons, and actively connecting that new knowledge to the real-world challenges in their own lives.
It all comes down to a fundamental choice: consuming entertainment versus consuming knowledge. While the rest of the world treats the evening as a time to completely check out and numb their brains, elite performers view it as an invaluable opportunity. They are actively engaging in mental training. Honestly, they treat their brains the exact same way elite athletes treat their muscles.
The billionaire's diet. Now, you might be wondering, what do they actually read? Because they definitely aren't just scrolling through celebrity gossip or random paperback thrillers. They follow a strict reading diet, prioritizing very specific genres: self-improvement, business strategies, psychology, and biographies of successful people. We're talking about heavy hitters like Atomic Habits, Think and Grow Rich, and The 4-Hour Workweek. They are strictly focused on compounding ideas that give them a tangible, real-world edge.
Their mindset here is beautifully simple. Reading is like investing. Small inputs, massive long-term returns. If you want to adopt this habit, you kind of have to reframe how you look at reading. It's not some chore assigned by a high school teacher anymore. It is an investment vehicle. Every single page you read is a small, completely manageable input that compounds over time, eventually giving you massive, life-altering returns.
The compound effect, the math of success.
Okay, let's look at the math here, because it's honestly staggering. Most people completely ignore this hidden mathematical truth.
Take just one day, 10 pages. That takes what, maybe 10 or 15 minutes? It is a tiny, super manageable habit. But compound that over 1 year, and suddenly you're at 3,650 pages. That translates to a yearly total of 10 to 15 books. It brilliantly illustrates how a habit so small it feels almost insignificant completely skyrockets your mental growth.
Now just imagine doing that for 5 years. That right there is exactly how ordinary people become extraordinary. It doesn't happen overnight, but over time. After half a decade of this simple nightly habit, you aren't just a little bit smarter. You've created a massive, undeniable knowledge gap between yourself and everyone else. You've accumulated insights that most people will literally never access in their lifetime.
How you can start. Build your blueprint.
And the best part? You don't need $1 billion in the bank to start thinking like someone who does. You just need to start small. Step 1. Read for just 10 minutes before bed. Step 2. Focus on one book at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. And step 3, and this is an absolute deal breaker, no phone distractions. Leave the phone in another room entirely. Just by following these 3 steps, you're building your own highly effective night ritual.
Dim the lights, sit comfortably, and read with real focus. And remember, consistency matters way more than speed. I really want to stress this. Speed reading is absolutely not the goal here. Nobody's handing out medals for finishing a chapter the fastest. Building a consistent, comfortable environment where you are truly present with the material is the only thing that matters. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really powerful thought to chew on. Your future is hidden in the pages you haven't read yet. It's such a profound reminder, isn't it? The quiet, seemingly insignificant moments you spend learning right before you fall asleep are exactly what shapes the loud, visible successes of your future.
So, I'm going to leave you with a direct challenge. What will you read tonight? I seriously urge you, this evening, ditch the phone, turn off the endless entertainment, pick up a book, and start building your own empire. Because learning never stops, and neither should you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.